It's Friday. It's straight facts. The Don Husam is here. Staffy is with us as well. How are you, gentlemen? You both well?
I'm good.
Blessed.
Staffy, I speak first on the show. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
big up.
Say Jum'ah Mubarak first.
Big up to you guys watching. Big up to the Terrace audience. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. First of all, KJ out. Where is the new intro? I've been telling you about the new intro 100 times, KJ. First of all, we need Staffy on the intro. We need Mo on the intro. We need the new straight facts. You get me? The crew has been, renewed. So we need that.
Quite a lot recently, to be fair.
Yeah, quite a lot. Make sure to put my face a bit more as well, KJ, because
this main character syndrome this guy has.
Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing. We're back on straight facts, baby. Let's go. Friday. Let's rock and roll.
All right, listen, like they say, ladies first, so I'll let Husam go first. But listen, big up to everyone. Thank you for having me, Terry. And as I said, because the fraud Husam, that always promotes his channel in Arabi, won't say it, but Jum'ah Mubarak to everyone. And let's get into it, Terry. I think it's gonna be a good show. A lot of stuff to talk about. I want to talk about certain fan base that I like to call the crybabies, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But let's get the show on the road.
Asking KJ to put you on the intro. KJ, don't put him on the intro now.
Yeah, and I can't ask KJ myself.
KJ,
who do you think you are, bro?
KJ.
I love these. Well, I love this. Egypt versus Jordan. I'm loving it.
Yeah,
who do you think would win? Who do you think would win in a fight if that was the case? Jordan or Egypt? Who'd win?
In a fight?
Fighting competitions, we actually get Olympic medals, like Taekwondo.
Which country has the better fighters, in your opinion? Yeah, which country has the better fighters?
Oh, definitely Jordan. Fighters, us, 100%.
He's obviously going to say that, but I don't know if we're known to be.
No, but if he said football, I'd say you. But if fighters is us, basketball
actually,
is
football, I would have said you guys right now because you guys have a better national team.
I'd pick Egypt over Jordan.
At this moment, they have a better national team just because they reached the final.
Egypt would beat us. Egypt would still beat us. I think basketball, we have a better team.
Some countries just for the fighters, you know what I'm saying? Like if you turn around, if somebody on the panel is from Dagestan, they're winning every fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain countries where you don't want to fight with an Irishman as an example. Like there's certain nations where the fighting levels are up there, bruv. I know there's no notifications. That's why you guys have got to turn the bell notification on. And every single Friday at 3:30, you know where we are at. I wanted to start off though, boys. Hojlund, he's out, Staffy. Hojlund is out.
Don't play the clip. I'm not.
Hojlund's out. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, Staffy? We have lost the best current informed Scandinavian striker in the league.
We actually lost. There's no more miracles. Khalas, it's all nightmares from now on. We actually just lost. Factually, he is the top goal scorer in 2024 in the league, next to Saka. So no one had more goals than him in the Premier League since the new year. So yes, it is a big loss. I think he's been getting his goals regardless of the performance. We haven't been playing good football, but he's been in form, which is weird. How are you in form and your team is not in form? And I think he was papering over the cracks for us. Obviously, luck was falling on his side a little bit with some of the balls that fell to him. Still had to finish them, so kudos to him. But it's a big issue because none of us look at this team and you feel like you could just have a like for like.
How did he even get injured? Was this like in training?
Muscular injury. Yeah, muscular injury, which is something that I want to talk about as well.
He should get like sold directly.
No, it's a muscle injury. He's out for 2 to 3 weeks. But here's what's not new about this, and Terry will tell you the same thing. We're no strangers to muscle injuries this season. The amount of muscle injuries that we picked up, even Mason Mount, his injury started with a muscle injury. And that wasn't even a recurring injury for him. It was a new injury for Mason Mount. Luke Shaw, obviously, we know he's injury prone. He's now also out to a muscle injury. I just don't know with this medical team that we have. We can't have a squad that's fit enough to come on and play. And it's been it's really been the theme since last season. And it was shocking to me. We don't even play a lot of football games this year. We don't have all these tournaments that we were in. We don't play the same amount of games that we played last season when we had last season we were the team that played the most games in Europe. because of going far in the Europa League, League Cup final, obviously where we won it, and the FA Cup final. So no one played more games than us last season. This season, I said, you know what, Champions League, as much as sucks, maybe there's a positive of it, and the positive is the thin teams are going to get more rest. They're going to be able to train more, and they're going to be able to improve on the pitch because now there's more time to rest and train and recondition games. And we actually have such a thin squad again. And Terry's asking me who comes on. You know why Terry's asking me? Because he doesn't know who can play instead. No one knows who can play instead. We don't have a striker that can come in and just fit in.
You don't have like something from the
there's talk. I saw a report that one of our young players is set to make. I'm just looking for the update here to make sure I'm reading this right. Amari Forsum is set to be handed his Premier League debut. His first start in the Premier League. So his starting debut in the Premier League versus Fulham. The one positive about that, well, there's a negative and a positive. The negative is I'd love to see Ahmad given an opportunity. But I've said for a while, whether or not you like Ahmad or not, the manager clearly doesn't rate him. I think that's obvious for people to see. But what I am happy about, if it is Forsum who's given an opportunity and a chance, is 1 second. Not right now. I'll come and see you in a minute, baby. Okay. Thank you, darling. So for me, it's a case of the good news behind this is that we're not bringing Anthony back into the team. So it's frustrating. We've got such a thin squad. It's especially in the number 9 area, not bringing in some kind of cover in the January, which I don't think was helped by Martial getting injured because we couldn't move him out the football club. For me, look, we had an outside chance of getting into the top 5, which I still think by the end of this European season, England's going to be in the top 2 on coefficient, looking at the kind of numbers that are out there right now. And this, for me, people may sound negative, but this injury, even though it's only going to be for 3 or 4 games, I think we'll drop enough points in those 3 or 4 games to miss out on the top 4. And we could even go out the FA Cup now, because the question is, who's going to score our goals? I'm not even trying to be negative.
There's only one answer.
Who?
Garnacho. But he needs to be a lot more clinical. Listen, Staffy don't like him. I see there's something there. He misses too many chances, but there is something. I don't think he's useless. I think he gets into good positions. He just needs to be clinical with his chance. Now, the one thing about this is, isn't this how Rashford's thing came out? Like when you guys had a couple of injuries and then Van Gaal brought on Rashford and then you discovered the talent. So this guy that we just mentioned, the Forsen guy, he could be a talent no one knows about. Just like we discovered Conor Bradley this season. You know, he could be. He could be a player.
Played before. He's not a nobody like when Rashford was when we brought him into the team. When we brought Rashford, I think that was the first time I knew who he was.
And in fairness, with Forsum, I tweeted something in the summer. I don't quite remember the exact wording. I'm trying to find it again now. But I watched him and he moves me a little bit more than Ahmad. I'm not like a hater of Ahmad at all in any capacity. I just don't see it, actually. I look at him and go, I literally look at him and see a championship player. I think he's far too
I don't see it in Diallo either. I don't. I think the thing is with this kid, he could step up and give you a performance. It could be a blessing in disguise. But Hojlund being out is bad news for Man Utd because he has been your best forward, in my opinion. I think he got himself out of the whole mockery thing, after starting scoring goals and stuff. He is the unformed striker in the league. So we have to give him respect over the last 6-7 games. He's played really well. But I think it's now up to the others to step up in his absence and make sure that United keep winning. But I think I'm looking at this at this current game that's happening tomorrow. I don't think you should be worried about Fulham because Fulham have been dreadful lately. I think you can still find a way to beat Fulham, whether it be a Bruno penalty or like someone's goal from a corner or something. Like you will find a way to beat Fulham. But this kid, let's wait and see what he does. I mean, it'll be better than Anthony, that's for sure.
Phil P here says Ahmad is clear of Garnacho and Rashford. I can't believe he never gets a game. I mean, look, I agree with you. I can't believe he's never been given a chance, really, under Ten Hag. But to say he's clear of Garnacho and Rashford is just a ridiculous statement, Phil.
I think he means on technical ability because he's very technical. And we've seen him play, by the way, what's funny to me, that last season when he went to Sunderland, he actually played in a false 9 a lot. And this would be the perfect time to bring in someone because you could actually put him in the false 9 position. So he would be a fit for this. I just know, like they said, we know he's not going to get minutes. He would have gotten minutes already because we've had a thin squad for a while. We've played the likes of Wigan and Newport, and he didn't get minutes. If anything, Forsen actually got minutes against Wolves. I don't know if you remember, Terry, that last minute goal that Man Utd scored, he was on the pitch when we scored that.
Well, he officially got the assist.
And he's the one that started the play with them, and he dragged the defender out of the way with his movement. So that he actually played before. I know Sam probably doesn't remember that, but this won't be his debut. It's going to be his first start. He actually played for us in preseason too. Remember when he got hooked up versus Dortmund because he got a yellow for arguing with someone? Then Ten Hag just hooked him off right away, and then he was talking to him on the sideline. So Ten Hag, I mean, from that moment, I thought when he hooked him off in preseason that he doesn't rate him, and because he had to talk with him right away. He brought him on, took him off right away, and then from then he kept it. I'm like, all right, that was more of him trying to coach him, trying to discipline him, trying to have a talk with him, not him saying what you just did. Nah, you're not good enough. I'm hooking you off, and you're never going to see the pitch again. He's seen the pitch more times than Ahmad has since he's come back from his injury. So I believe 100% that he's going to start. I think the stupid thing would be to move positions again, to put Rashford in the 9, then move Garnacho to the left, and then put Anthony on the right. That would be the worst thing to do. And if this manager does that, I swear I don't know if I'll be able to control my temper, because how many times has he done that when we've lacked some positions because players are injured, and then he moves players around from their best positions. Garnacho on the 9.
I think he's listen. I rate Garnacho.
What do you rate about Garnacho? Can I just ask you, what do you rate about Garnacho?
I think he gets into very good positions. I think he's like, he's not necessarily the quickest, but I think he has some sort of IQ when it comes to like positionally as a forward. If he just learns how to take his chances, because against Luton he could have had a hat-trick. Like if he can just have some composure in front of goal, I think he could actually become a player. I genuinely think so. I actually think he's not that bad.
Yeah. What don't you like about him? Because you can't, every time his name is mentioned, Staffy, your face does like a
it's just like people rate him for stuff that he doesn't have. So it's like I'm confused sometimes when they say, do you actually watch him before you say these things? He's not quick, he's not physical, he doesn't have good ball striking. How can my striker not be a good ball striker? Do you not see the way
he's not quick? When you say he's not quick, what do you mean? I mean, he's not a slouch.
So when I say he's not quick, he's not pacey. That's the thing. He might be a quick dribbler. So with the ball, his dribbling is not that bad. But he's actually a slow player. I've seen him so many times in the transition get caught by the defenders, and he'd have like 5 yards ahead of them. Everyone knows that about him. Like when you see him, he's not a counter-attacking player. The times he scores is, I'll give one thing that Husam said that is true. He actually does get in positions because he's very direct and he's very self-centered that he wants to score a lot of goals. He does find himself in positions where, okay, now I could score a goal. But when you're not physical, you want to play him as a 9, and you're not physical, means you're going to get bullied by defenders. When you don't have pace, it means you can't run in behind defenders. And to top all of it, you don't kick the ball well. Like his ball striking is so poor, and we see this every game. That goal that Hojlund scored.
Composure is his biggest issue. If he gets composure, I think he'd score a lot of goals. 100%. He just needs to be composed.
Yeah, I think he can develop. I think
it's going to take a lot more than that, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think composure can be taught, because composure is a mindset as opposed to a technical skill. I do think the Man United fan base has a weird obsession with technical ability. And what I mean by that is, of course, you want your players to be proficient, have good outputs, have good consistency, and be hugely technically proficient. But we have a lot of players that have good technical ability, but they're not good footballers. Growing up as a kid, there was a lot of people like this in my life growing up. I don't know what football games you guys played in Jordan and in New York, but we used to play a game called knockouts, where it was all v all, right? And the ball, there'd be a goalkeeper who kicked the ball out, it was all v all. Or you play double knockouts where there's 2 of you together. You play headers and volleys. You play games that you followed the rules, but there was no referee, right? And you always had these players that were the best in the playground. But when it came to actually playing for the school team, when it came to playing for the school team, or when it came to playing for a Sunday league team, they couldn't handle the structure of an actual football match. They were never, ever anywhere near as good in a football match, a proper one, as they were in the playground. And that for me is where I always look at somebody with, when anyone goes, someone's a baller, their technical ability is through the roof. It's a bit of a red flag to me. It doesn't mean everybody they say that about ends up being a bad player. But I'm like, okay, they've got good technical ability, which means they look nice on the eye test. But what do they do with it? And for instance, when Angel Gomez left, now Angel Gomez is a good professional, and I would love to have his career in football. When Zidane Iqbal left. Everyone's like, these guys are going to go on. Chong, these guys are all going to go on to be world beaters. None of them. I almost guarantee that 95% of all these technical ballers that we don't start, don't play, loan out and sell, will never get anywhere near a top 6 Premier League level team in their life. But we upset. And again, I understand that we need to go out and buy better technical ballers than, say, Scott McTominay. But just because someone's got technical ability doesn't mean they're a good football player at the highest level. And I think that there's always this, I feel like there's this missing gap that we sometimes have as fans. We go, why is this guy always being picked? Well, he's been picked by 4 or 5 managers running, and all the technical ballers you want are now playing in League One. Like I'm not saying that makes McTominay amazing, but it tells me your football understanding. I'm not talking to you here, Staffy, by the way. Your football understanding's off, because you actually look at Baller FC and look at, yes, they all rate Messi, but everybody does. Go back over the last 5 years and look at all the up-and-coming stars they've predicted. Look at all the players currently bought. Oh, this guy's going to be it. And look where those footballers are at now. Most of them are doing very little at the elite end of the spectrum. I think people are too obsessed with technical ability versus efficiency and output and delivery in your respective position. There's a difference between technically good at football and being a good football player, in my opinion. And I think Garnacho's got the ability. I think Garnacho's got the ability to be a very good football player, as opposed to, he's never going to be Zidane. But Zidanes are a rare. I look at them as celebrities, right? There are certain people in this world that have high level of celebrity and amazing talent. So, for instance, Michael Jackson, right? Celebrity and huge talent at the same time. Most people have huge talent, but they're not big celebrities, or they're huge celebrities, but their talent's pretty average. And I feel like every now and then you get a footballer that has huge technical ability, but is also an amazing footballer at the same time. Most of the time, they're just good footballers. In my view,
they have great technical ability and they're efficient. That puts them like in GOAT categories anyway. That's like rare to find to begin with. I think Staff is being a bit harsh on Garnacho personally.
No, I'm not, bro. I watch him every week, bro. What are you talking about?
Hear me out. You know I watch United every week as well, because I am a hater. So I think Garnacho is definitely a good player, but I genuinely believe, look, he just needs someone to just teach him how to be composed, because you cannot tell me a striker that got into the positions that he got in against Luton multiple times is someone who's just.
Bro, we played counter-attacking football against Luton. Why are you bigging up that performance so much?
You cannot tell me he doesn't know how to play the sport.
He couldn't round the goalkeeper. What are you talking about, bro? You're actually not watching the game.
His problem is composure. So you get into the position. The tough part, many people find tough, is actually getting into the position. So he gets into the position, which is, by the way, Mo Salah does that at the elite level. Mo Salah's positioning is elite. I'm talking about 5-star, like his positioning. The problem is with Garnacho is I don't think he's composed enough, because a player
Salah is an elite finisher, bro. What does that even have to do with this guy?
Let me land. A player in Garnacho's position against Luton scores a hat-trick. Me and you can both agree on this, whether you rate him or not. He should have had a hat-trick against Luton. Now, the thing is,
can you tell me where should he have had a hat-trick? Other than that one chance that he didn't run the goalkeeper.
He got around the goalkeeper once. There was the chance he missed.
He messed up. Other than that, where did he mess up?
The chance no, but that's the criticism. What am I criticizing for? Composure. I think he lacks
one
composure.
Chance. Where do you see the hat-trick?
No, but I think he lacks. I think if you get someone who just teaches, because composure can be taught. If you teach Garnacho composure, he will start scoring goals, because there's something there. I disagree with you. I don't think he doesn't have. I think he has good ball striking. I don't think he has bad ball striking. I think he strikes the ball well. I agree with you. I don't think he's the quickest. I think he's fast, but not the quickest, like Gakpo, to be fair.
Yeah. All his shots are off target. The goal that Hojlund scored is because his shot was off target. I'm telling you, I watch him game in, game out. He doesn't have good bullshit.
How are all these shots off target if he scores goals?
Terry, you know what I mean? I don't mean literally every shot there. Don't do that. You know what I mean? The reason we actually moved him from left to right, because every time he cut in, he couldn't. His ball striking when he cuts in on his right wasn't good enough.
There's rawness to him, and he needs work, right? I understand that, but this is what I would throw out. You're someone, Staffy, who on so many shows, and rightfully so, you're bang on, spoke about the lack of style of football, the lack of drills we do in training, the lack of development. Someone like Garnacho, under the correct structure at our club, with the right coach and it all knitting together nicely, is going to improve. And as I say, there's a few people that have commented saying, Terry, how can you not rate technical ability? You didn't listen. You're not listening. I want good technical ability, but I think we obsess over it sometimes because player A looks better at passing than player B, but in reality, in a football match, they're less efficient. They actually make less passes. They actually lose the ball just as much. They barely create opportunities. They don't break the lines. Just because their technical ability looks good doesn't make them a good football player. This isn't ballet where it's all about your lines and how good it looks. It's about efficiency and delivery. And I think that we get a little bit bogged down with it. Yes, I'd love Garnacho to have more speed, have a better first touch. I'd love for him to have dribbling ability of Ronaldinho. I'd love for him to have the passing range and the creative flair of a Zidane, but that's not going to happen. However, there are some players out there that could do better step overs than him, have better drag backs than him, be able to do better, tricks and whatever, but they're not going to be better football players than him. Like, being good at tricks and flicks doesn't make you a good football player. It never has done, and it never will do. It's knitting it all together, in my opinion. There's the comment that's come through here that says Conor Gallagher is a prime example. True. Conor Gallagher, there are lots of players, young players currently in the Premier League that have better technical ability than Conor Gallagher. But he will have a better career at the elite level than many of those individuals because it's a different skill set that's needed. At the end, it doesn't mean, and again, some people just purely go on footballing ability and go, he's better. There are probably people that saw Jamie O'Hara have a football career and go, how did he make it and not me? Because it isn't all about how good you are with the skills and the technique. There's more to football than that. It's like in boxing. There are some guys that have won world titles that are not very good boxers, but they're amazing fighters. There's a combination that's needed within the sport. So Jim and co want to bring technical technique. I think you mean back to United. They want De Zerbi backed with United money. Scary prospects. Listen, I want it as well, but we still then will only develop the people that have technical ability coupled with good footballing outputs, depending on the position they play in. It's as simple as that for me. Terry, generally, I love your content, mate, but need to know that since you're Ten Hag an outer, who comes in next for you? I'm someone that likes Diego Simeone. That was a few weeks ago. However, we need to know what the club's style is going to be and understand that now. So I don't know what we're going to do. I like the idea of Alonso as an example. I'm not even dead set against the dead set against
Alonso. That's not going to happen, brother.
I'm just telling you the preference.
What he wants,
it's
bro.
not going to happen. He's never going to.
The question is about what he wants.
I didn't say that.
What's going to happen?
I didn't say it was going to happen. I also I'm not dead set against the idea of De Zerbi either. I think it's a big risk because he hasn't been at a club of that level. So yeah, but I don't also think it will be. I don't actually think it will be Diego Simeone now. One, I don't think we'll get him away from Ati. Secondly, I've got a feeling that isn't the style of football that the club is going to try and play. I think the style of football that we're going to play is going to suit more your De Zerbi-esque managers. The problem you have when it comes to bringing somebody in, I don't think there's any managers of that ilk who are of a world-class level that have won major trophies that play that brand of football right now. I could be that are attainable for Man United. So they're the names we're looking at. But you've got to remember my reasons for not wanting Ten Hag, and I've had a lot of comments on this. It's not really about him per se. It's all to do with a clean slate and starting from afresh. And I think Sir Jim, in his interview yesterday, when he was asked to talk about the manager, when he refused to be drawn out talking about it, that spoke volumes to me.
Staffy, I think that's your goal because you're the United fan. You get me?
Yeah, sorry, I was talking to my son. My son keeps coming in chatting to me.
Someone behind him.
Yeah. Staffy, lol, Garnacho has pace. Remember that goal against Fulham before the World Cup? He sprinted past the defender to score that winner. One thing you forgot to say is he can't play with his back to goal.
No, I know exactly what I said. He does not have pace. You're going to a game, by the way. When was that game? In 2022? And we're in 2024, and you had to use an example from before the World Cup. And just to remind you, by the way, Marcy, that day Garnacho came on as an impact sub. And Terry will remind you that last season, when I was talking about Garnacho, I always said he's nothing more than an impact sub. So he can probably back me on that. The issue is when he plays 90 minutes, and he plays against fresh legs, you can see that he lacks the pace. If you seriously don't watch Garnacho every week and you see that he's not a pacey player, unlike Rashford as an example, Rashford, all the criticism for all these years, no one has ever criticized him for his pace. And I see now people comparing them to Rashford. Do you really think when you look at both these players, you can tell both these players are pacey? Of course you can't, because one is actually lightning fast and Garnacho just doesn't have it. So if you want to use an example of a player coming on with less than 20 minutes left and runs at a fullback who was on a yellow that day, by the way, and his legs were gone and scored a goal, then go ahead. But that's not going to change my opinion. It's not going to change the fact.
I hear you there. I think that's my hat. I straightened it now. Thank you, bro. Terry, Ahmad is better than Rashford and Garnacho, but there's just no, again, Z, I respect you, bro, but there is zero, absolutely zero proof of that, because Ahmad has barely kicked the ball at the elite end of the spectrum. So there is, it's not even an opinion. I don't see how you can have an opinion that Ahmad is better when you've not seen him play a first team game of football. Well, we've barely seen him play a first team game football at the elite end of the spectrum. And look, I'm someone that's
better than Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, I'm someone that's wanted to see him given an opportunity. Please don't get me wrong. And I'm not suggesting that the manager of Man United right now, Ten Hag, is getting everything right. However, and I have to be honest about this, in my humble opinion, the fact that he's not kicking the ball at all tells me he's not rated in any way, shape, or form. And so far, the young players the manager has given a chance to at United, typically speaking, have done okay for us. So I'm not dead set against the manager's ability to spot that young talent. So for me, it tells me that, you've got to remember in January, it was only a championship team that came in across the whole of Europe and wanted to loan him. These things, as much as you've got a love for this player and you really want to see him given a chance, like wake up and smell the coffee. This is going to be like a Jay Spearing for Liverpool. It's just like good player, but never going to be good enough to really move the needle for our club. I mean that. That's a shout. Terry, please hook me up with a credible online football streaming platform that isn't expensive that I can access in South Africa. Well, if you can use VPNs in South Africa, I don't know if you can. I assume you can. Then Setanta Sport. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. Terry, are you expecting top 4? I'm expecting us to try and get it because I do believe we'll sack the manager in the summer. And I'd rather be in it next season than not. So expecting it is probably not the right word. I want us to push for it. I can give you 3 incidents. Go for it. Instances. Give us them then, my bro. What is your favorite Ramadan foods that you would want Terry to try? Also, if Liverpool don't win the title, Husam has to eat a banana live, no fork. Who eats? Hang on a minute. Hang on. Who eats a banana live with? Who eats a banana with a fork?
I don't eat a fork. I had to eat a banana.
I know what he's saying.
He's saying you can't use a fork, so he doesn't get out of what he's trying to get him to do.
Yes, football cooler. I came back from the gym. Listen, as a man, masculinity, I'm not gonna just swallow a banana like that. So what I do is I cut it off with my hand and I eat it piece by piece. You get me? This is called toxic masculinity. This is what we do around here. And I'm never going to eat that. I'm never going to eat it the way you want me. I am never going to eat it the way that you want me to eat it. Ever.
Man doesn't eat. Hang on a minute. You don't eat a banana in the normal way because you're insecure. Come on now.
He said, I won't swallow it. I'll cut it into pieces first. As if there's anyone that swallows a banana.
Sam, how do you, if you were to go and have a hot dog, right? Okay, it's halal meat. You're allowed to eat it. How would you eat the hot dog? Would you just put it in your mouth? Would you break it apart in your hand?
That's a sandwich. It's different.
A hot dog's not a sandwich.
Same thing.
Not a sandwich.
Yes, it is. No one just takes a hot dog and eats it like that. That's not how life works.
You've got it in a bun and you put the whole thing in your mouth, don't you? You're like,
Do you bite from it or do you rip it first? That's what he's trying to say. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a sandwich or not. It still has a glizzy in it. Pause. So what do you do?
Listen, I don't eat hot dogs anyway.
Hang on a minute. What about an ice lolly? How do you eat an ice lolly?
I don't eat ice lollies.
I love it. I love this. That's funny.
Anyways, what are you having for Terra on Ramadan?
Yeah, what would you like me to eat? What Ramadan food would you like me to eat?
You have to drink Tamar Hindi. First of all.
I agree with
100%.
Okay.
Samosas is a must.
Yes,
Tamar Hindi is basically tamarind. You've got to eat samosas. For us as well, it's like Ramadan is about the soups and the salads as well, because the soups and the salads are next level in Ramadan. Like low-key, sometimes we get full from all the appetizers before we even get to the main stuff. But some of the Ramadan feasts we have is just incredible. So
I'm up for that.
I feel like if you actually eat at my house or at Staffy's house one day in Ramadan, you'll be like shocked.
Listen, I'm gonna give you the perfect answer: molokhia, white rice, and chicken. If you want to know what molokhaya is, Terry, it's basically some type of green that's cut over and chopped over chicken broth, and then it's served hot, and you pour it all over the white rice. Then you choose whatever. I mean, however you like your chicken cooked, you just have it next to that. That is the most elite Ramadan food. That is the number one on day one on Ramadan. Everyone has to eat that.
I got a good palate in the sense of I'm someone that, even I'm English, I like variety in my food, so I would definitely give that a try, my boys. This is what happens when you have to overuse your players and you don't have another striking option to share the load. It was inevitable for Hojlund. I agree. I absolutely agree with that.
Poor recruitment once again.
We all know Rashford up front with Anthony back. Listen, I would rather play McTominay as a 9 than Anthony come back into this team. That would worry me less, if I'm being honest. I have a feeling they will give Ten Hag next season. I hope not. Garnacho has the 5th fastest top speed in the league this season. He's fine. It's about him being more direct and going to goal a la Wolves last season.
No, aka Wolves last season. That's what I meant to say. What happened against Wolves last season? I don't even remember.
I have wanted Xavi out since December. Now I get emotional about how we treated a club legend who loves the club. Are football fans terrible humans? No, I wouldn't. Some are. Some football fans are, but that's not because they're football fans. It's because they're bad people. But I don't feel sorry for a multi-millionaire being paid multi-millions of pounds to leave. Like I don't really feel sorry for him, really. If I'm being honest.
This whole, I feel like there's a sympathy thing that happens more in the Premier League than everywhere else, and I'll tell you why. Look at the news that came out the other day. Kimmich, Muller, and I forgot one more player from that Bayern team were all against Tuchel staying, and then they're saying the one player that's really against with him right now and is against everyone else is Harry Kane. Not for nothing, I love Harry Kane as a player. I wanted him to come to United, but that just showed me the sentiment that is forced in the Premier League, that you can't get rid of a manager because he brought you to a team, or we gotta back him, we gotta fight for him. Muller and Kimmich are elite winners. They win everything in the game, and they're against the manager because they know the trajectory is not good. And then you have Harry Kane, who comes from a loser mentality from Spurs, who's never won anything, trying to back the manager. If that's not the epitome of the issue...
It's the same club you work for, by the way.
Stop saying that's work for them. When have you ever said anything about Arsenal?
Spurs is your second club at this point.
When have you said anything about Arsenal?
Mr. Spurs, oh my God. Ange, I love you so
Hello,
much.
Sard. Sard says we all stink.
Oh my God. Bro, who
there you are.
Sard?
Don't make me send Terry edits of Mo asking you to call him daddy and Odegaard taking a picture of you, because I will humiliate you.
Send it to me. No. He said we stink. Send it to me now. Send it to me now.
Dunk on your head top. Apologize. You have to send a 5-pound Superchat apology now.
Sard, listen. I don't know if you have. Sard, you must know this expression. If you live in a glass house, you don't throw stones, brother. You don't throw stones. You just smash your own. Just smash your own window.
I send him clips right now.
There we go. Fastest player in the Premier League. I know. How you pronounce his name?
Ogbene.
Ogbene, that's the one. 37 kilometers per hour. Garnacho speed is 35 kilometers per hour, according to the One Football.
No. This means he at some point he recorded a speed of whatever you're providing in front of me right now. In previous years, I could swear there was a year that one of the center backs for Chelsea, something like that.
Van Dijk.
No, not Virgil. There was one of these years where a Chelsea defender, it might have been Rudiger or Zuma, something like that.
They're really fast.
But no, okay, but they're really fast for center backs, but they're not really fast players. I mean, look at how Rudiger runs. He's not really.
There's a difference between speed and acceleration, right?
Yeah, I do.
So I think for me, where you could be right, it's worth watching. Maybe over the first 3 or 4 yards, because in football, it's the first 4 or 5 yards that are the most important for speed. Maybe his acceleration in the first 2 or 3 strides isn't good, but his top speed is fast.
I can go back to the Wolves game where he got caught by that defender. If they want to play this game, because I don't do these comps game and I do little clips and put them on Twitter.
He has got speed, though. He has got speed.
He's not a fast player. He's not faster than Rashford. He's not faster than Hojlund. Our fastest 2 attackers factually are Hojlund.
Yeah, but that doesn't
Rashford.
make him. But that doesn't make him slow.
He's not a fast player. I'll stand by that. And so I'll do this, Marcy. Go follow me on Twitter, and I'll go get some clips like you want to do right now, and take everything out of context, and I'll show you clips of him getting caught by defenders with ease. I'll show you that. There's no problem. I'll do that.
I bet you could find clips of the fastest players getting caught by defenders.
Okay, well, Marcy here wants to sit here and just showed me the speed recorded that he recorded 35 kilometers per hour. So you're telling me Garnacho now is the fastest player on our team? Where's Rashford? Can I know what Rashford is?
I think you're missing it. No one's saying he's the fastest. They're saying he isn't slow.
He is a slow player.
How can you be slow but run at 35 kilometers per hour?
That's fine with me. You recorded it once. It doesn't.
No, you need to answer that question. How can you run at 35 kilometers per hour but also be slow?
Okay, what game was that? Was he starting? Was he a bench? Was it the first minute of the game? Was it the last minute of the game? I need all this around it before I can make a judgment on that.
Nobody's as fast at the end of the game as they would be when they first start the game because they're tired. But how can he be slow if he's running at 35 kilometers per hour?
It doesn't matter. I just said I watch him every game. Of course it doesn't matter. I watch him every. Okay, so you're using one example when I'm saying every game. Yes, you are because
I've seen him sprint. Listen, I'm not saying he's the fastest, but I've definitely seen him use speed to beat people. Use speed on counterattacks. I've seen him. I wouldn't say he is electric, but I wouldn't say the slouch. He's quick, but he's not electric speed. Like you're making it sound like he's running in cement boots.
That's not what I said. I just said when you sit there and you talk about his attributes, pace shouldn't be one of them. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's the slowest player on the pitch. That's not what I'm saying. But pace is not one of his attributes, and I'll stand by that. I said he's a quick dribbler. He's just not a pacey player.
Fair enough. Terry, do I take Hojlund out my FPL? Yes. He's not going to play for a few weeks. I'd definitely take him out and replace him with somebody that's going to score some goals. Score predictions for Fulham Man United. What are you going with?
A lot more to worry about than FPL, to be fair.
Listen, halftime crooks. Go worry about your prediction that you're going to win 4-0 against Porto. Because when I call you crooks, there's a reason why I call you crooks. Because the only thing good about your takes is your beard. Your beard is elite. Your takes are shit. But big up, Studio Crooks.
Get dunked on.
Anyways, what was the predictions? I'm not gonna lie, I thought we'd win like 3-0, but now with no Hojlund, I really don't see where the goals are coming from. And for that, I might actually go for a draw right now and say 1-1 maybe. I just really don't see where we score. I actually don't.
What are you going with, Husam?
3-1 Man United. Fulham are dog shit. They're dreadful. This is the one game you don't have to worry about.
I think someone's got you here, Staffy. Patrick says Amrabat caught Mbappe at the World Cup. Is he fast now? Or is Mbappe slow?
Where then Amrabat caught Mbappe? When he made that tackle.
Yeah, he caught up with him to make the tackle, yeah.
When Mbappe had to cut in and then he caught him as he cut in, it doesn't mean that he beat him in a sprint. What are people talking about?
He caught him up, didn't he?
After he cut in, it doesn't mean that he was still running in a straight line. What are you talking about? What is this? Mbappe cut to his right, and that's when Amrabat caught him up, and he caught him up with a tackle, so he had to slide tackle. It's not like he beat him in a foot race. Try again, Patrick. Thank you, though, but try again.
Big up, Patrick Lynch.
Staffy has terrible opinions about United, but other teams he's spot on. Yeah, Staffy.
You're sensitive. That's all it is. You're sensitive. He's probably
he's not spot on about other teams. He was wrong about Spurs. 100% he was wrong about
Spurs. I wasn't wrong about Spurs. You said gonna drop off. Guess what? They're sitting in fifth place right now.
Spurs are fucking shit and they're below Aston Villa and you're about to overtake them this weekend.
I hope so. Arsenal, they take on Newcastle. But before we jump into that game, Sam, what do you think went wrong the other day for them? Because they went out there. There was a lot of Arsenal fans were sort of, come on, we could get a draw, we might nick a win. But there were a few that were predicting 3-0 and 4-0. It was going to be easy. A lot in our group chats as well, as you've seen, Gunnar Souls and Igal. And in the dying moments, screamer scored by Porto. And now all the pressure is on Arsenal in the second leg. What's this? Can't hear it.
I know. Troops and Sad being upset. You get me? Listen, this is what big clubs do at Porto away. Just to kind of show the people. This is what happens when a big club goes to Porto away. You know, first of all, Arsenal fans, you know, I have to say, here's the thing. First of all, Arsenal fans have been pathetic over the last 48 hours. I've seen the most pathetic reactions in the entire world from that fan base I've ever seen my whole life. I've seen blames blaming ball boys. I'm saying, oh my God, they parked the bus. Like they have, you know, when I first met Terry, when I first done YouTube, when I first met Terry, I pretended that I've been on the terrace before. I act like I belong here. I act like I've been here before. Arsenal fans continuously prove to us that they just don't know what it's like. They honestly just don't know what it's like. They don't know how to pretend that they're there before. Have you ever been invited to an event in high school or at uni or some shit? And you just like act like, yeah, I belong here, even though I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. There was this one fucking group in at my uni that were like pro environment and shit. And they had like 3 unbelievably beautiful women in it. And I just pretended to care about the environment for 2 months. And it was brilliant. So you just have to sometimes act like you've been there before. You go away to Porto and you think Porto are about to play open, expensive football so you can destroy them 4-0. And then after that, you know, you're going to go like, oh, wow, Porto, you played really well. The distance between Arsenal and Porto is bigger than the distance between Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid went away to Inter Milan and had zero interest in playing football. Every dark art shit house tactic you can see in the whole world, Simeone played at the San Siro, and they had 0 shots on target. And that is a team that's actually closer to Inter Milan than Porto are to you. So obviously Porto is going to be more defensive. So let's get that out of the way. Second of all, you know what I have a problem with? The Arsenal manager and the Arsenal players. Arsenal's manager, Mikel Arteta. You cannot win a Champions League without having moments. You cannot go far in this competition without having moments. You cannot go far in this competition without introducing an element of chaos. You cannot have 65% possession, 70% possession, pass left, pass right, 500 times, and take no risks whatsoever. I have never seen a team my whole life take 0 risks in a Champions League game. Actually, 0 risks. They did not attempt any risk whatsoever, and they played it safe for 90 whole minutes. It was play it safe, play it safe, play it safe, play it safe. Hi. Play it safe, play it safe, play it safe. Future Liverpool captain there. Future Liverpool captain, big up. Playing it safe, playing it safe, playing it safe. I want him to recreate the Charlie Bit Me video where he buys the finger. Charlie bit me.
Right in front of his son. That's hilarious.
All game long. And I have a problem with the Arsenal players. Sometimes you just got to say F the tactics. F every single thing Arteta said. I'm going to pull my socks up. I'm going to pull my shorts up. I'm going to pull my jock strap. And I'm just going to shoot at the fucking goal. That's it. I am just going to take a risk. And my problem is Arsenal took 0 risks whatsoever. And if you thought Porto played like Burnley, you're about to witness real Burnley at the Emirates. Oh my God, you have no idea what Porto are about to do at the Emirates. It's going to be right back, right wing back, left wing back.
Arsenal going to win. Arsenal going to win, though. Surely you believe Arsenal.
I still predict Arsenal to go through. But if they're complaining that this is a low block, I am a seasoned European professional over the last 5-6 years. You know how many low blocks Liverpool Football Club unlocked?
You or your team? I just want to know.
Brother, Liverpool went to the Wanda Metropolitano, won 3-2 in Atletico Madrid's backyard with all the dark arts, with all the disgusting stuff that they done. And now all the players that you sit up here and you want us all to praise 24/7, it's time for them to step up. One trick pony Saka, step up. Trossard, step up. Rice, step up, etc. All these players need to make themselves counted because these moments are what make you world class. Scoring a hat-trick against Burnley doesn't make you world class.
Couldn't agree more. Listen, Arsenal crybabies, you know, people like JJ Ash, people like Studio Crooks, people like Sad, people like Igal. Listen, you guys all deserve this, and I'll tell you why. And yes, just to save you guys the time, everyone who's going to tell me, Staffy, you shouldn't be talking, your team finished 4th. I'm not talking about my team. I'm not here representing United when I'm talking about this. I'm representing football when I'm talking about this, okay? You guys
You're representing Porto, actually. You were born there, right? Remember? Tell the people.
No, I would like to sit here and speak Portuguese like Northside does. You know, but I'm from Porto La Escandria. That's where I'm from. You know, I'm from Porto Sukhna. That's where I'm from.
He's originally Portuguese.
But listen, These guys, bro, listen, here's the thing about them. They always need validation. And this is why they get cooked the most the minute they lose. I actually, you know what I realized, that they actually don't have an issue with Arsenal. The team itself, I don't have an issue with Arsenal. I came to a conclusion that I just can't stand the Arsenal fan base. When I have people like Igal telling me all season that they would get
people like
9,
calling us stinky.
No, listen, 9 players into a combined 11 with Real Madrid. Give me the best team. Oh, I want Real Madrid. I want Bayern so we can avenge for the 10-2. I want Inter Milan so we can dunk on Footy Judge Mo. And then you go, and Footy Judge Mo said it perfectly yesterday on Straight Facts. He said, this is like Mario. You haven't even reached the final boss yet. Right now, you guys face the Goombas. You face the little turtles that you hop on and then they just go off the map. That's what they were, bro. They couldn't beat the Goombas, which is Porto. Porto's level 1. And you went to Porto and you couldn't register a shot on target. Your star boy that we had to hear about. I realized I actually don't even hate Saka as well. But the amount of agendas that they have to force on us, that he's world-class this, world-class that. And we all said, wait until he does something in the Champions League so you can actually validate it. Be like, listen, I have an argument. I have an argument to why he's world-class. Look at what he did. He goes to Porto, doesn't register a shot on target, doesn't even complete a dribble, and they lose the first game. And now they're saying, oh, you guys couldn't wait for us to lose, for you guys to banter us. It's because of what you guys have done. You haven't achieved anything, and you just want to talk. Your manager hasn't proved anything yet in the elite level. Why? I rate Arteta, by the way. I rate what he's done. But, brother, you haven't won a Premier League. This is your first time in 7 years being in the Champions League. The last time you won a knockout round was in 2009. I didn't even live in the US in 2009. I didn't even speak English in 2009. And you guys, that was the last time you guys won a round of Champions League football, a knockout round. And this is, go ahead, Terry. You want to say?
I want to find a challenge what you just said there about Saka. I thought they were awful, Arsenal, on Wednesday. There's no defending that performance. I thought it was naive. I don't actually think they were negative. I disagree. I've heard a lot of people say that. My view is they tried to attack, couldn't break them down. I think what they should have done is actually given Porto the ball, sat back, invited them on, exploited the space in behind. I think they needed to be a lot cuter than they were. But if this proves that Saka isn't world-class because he didn't deliver, what if he scores a brace or a hat-trick in the next game? Does that prove that he is?
I don't think
no, but it gets him closer to it.
Because, I'll throw that out there because what I'm hearing a lot of, and I'm not talking about YouTube per se, but in general, is this game proves Saka's not world-class because he didn't deliver. Or this proves that Arsenal can't win the Champions League. But if in their next game they smash it, and or then in their next away game they do really well, will people be as quick to go, actually, I was wrong about Arsenal, I was wrong about Saka? I understand what you guys are saying.
You're telling me this game doesn't prove they can't win the Champions League? Yes, it does.
This game.
You know what it shows you? They have no moments players, and Arteta isn't willing to adjust.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It shows you on that game they didn't have any moments. It doesn't categorically tell you that it's absolutely impossible for Arsenal to have a moment in the Champions League to win a game because it was a bad game. It doesn't prove categorically that they have zero chance of winning the Champions League. And
if Arteta continues like this, 100% they have no chance.
Again, if they perform if they perform that way,
not perform. I'm talking about style. I'm not talking about performance.
Yes, but it's
forget the game. If
you have to focus on performance.
To have individuality, they're not going to win anything.
Okay.
You won the two Champions League that you won.
We've
how
seen
many
them.
individual moments can you mention by multiple different players?
Of course,
and Alex Ferguson did not always want possession and control.
Of course I can. But I've also seen Man United have games in the Champions League before we won it where we didn't do very little. And that was an indication we were bad on the day. I don't think it was an indication that it means, because I heard Jamie O'Hara, I've got a video coming out later, said something along the lines today of Arsenal have never won it before, so I don't understand why anybody thinks they'll ever win it. And that logic for me is warped because by that logic, Liverpool were never going to win the Premier League because you hadn't won it before. By that logic,
18 times. Thank you very much.
Not the Premier League, though, and it is a different competition. And at the end of the day, I think that Arsenal deserve their criticism. Arsenal fans, like Igal, deserve their medicine because they predicting 4-0 away at Porto is ridiculous in my humble opinion. And I understand that. But again, I think every time Arsenal lose, we jump to these extreme conclusions that this proves without a shadow of a doubt that they're never ever going to achieve anything because of this individual game. Then they go 5, 6, 7 games that are doing well, and we say to Arsenal fans, you can't get excited because it means nothing yet. But ironically, I feel like the reaction to them losing is as extreme as the likes of Igal when they win a game.
Yeah, but the reaction is to okay. I get what you're saying, Terry. And by the way, I still think they're gonna advance. So
I think they're gonna advance too. But if we're talking about winning, they won't. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not even concerned about that yet because I don't know how the draws are gonna be. I don't know if the teams they're gonna face are gonna have injuries or not. I don't know what's gonna happen next. So I'm not gonna jump the gun. Unlike Husam, I kind of try to be a little bit more. Go ahead and show it
again. I'll show it again.
In case they couldn't see, show us again.
Just one more time. Just one more time for the people. There you are. See how you play at the Dragao? That's how you play at the
Dragao. My thing is, Terry, until you prove it, you haven't done it yet. Okay. And I think they will. I think they will qualify. My issue is, this is not me saying, okay, I'm dismissing them completely. They'll never do this. They'll never do that. My point is, as much as you're saying, sometimes we have to wait before we banter rivals when they lose because they're at halftime. There's another game. They should have done the same thing in the beginning. I've seen their fans on AFTV singing, how many goals are we going to put past Porto or whatever it is? How many balls in the back of the net?
On target.
That's the disrespect that they had to the competition. And here's the thing. They banter us for being out of the Champions League, or Liverpool for not being in the Champions League, or Chelsea not being in the Champions League. We have seen our teams get far in this competition and win it a few times. You haven't. So for you to completely go in and talk about Porto, a team, by the way, who's in the knockout stages almost every year, not just the first round, they sometimes get it past the first round. I remember more historically, a couple years ago, when they beat Juventus and with Ronaldo, I think it was his last year at Juventus. They eliminated Juventus and they got past them. They're a team that's been there and done that. I heard Studio Crooks, by the way, who keeps talking here. He said Pepe, a 40-year-old in their defense, is a suicide. He said he's 40. Wallahi, he said it's a suicide. Bro, this is a multiple Champions League. This guy has played in Champions Leagues, World Cups. He's been there and done that. And these people went there and they just completely dismissed Porto. And this is the issue that I have. You have to respect the competition. You have to understand that the Premier League and Europe is completely different.
What is gaslighting Arsenal fans, Staffy? I don't think you're actually saying it because deep down, you know, if they do this fucking controlled shit, they ain't gonna win it. They're gonna win.
That's not gaslighting, first of all. Gaslighting is lying on their name. I'm not lying on their name right now or anything. So I'm not gaslighting them. I'm not going to give them false hope and tell them they'll win the Champions League, but I'm also not going to be you and say you have zero chance to win the Champions League.
If I told them controlled shit 100%,
no, here's the thing. I agree with you in some instance, because yesterday I said this and it rattled a few Man City fans. I said Pep is
last season was the first time he wasn't controlled and they won it.
Exactly, that's my point. It took him 7 tries with a City team to finally win the Champions League. Someone told me, oh, but that doesn't mean anything. We were still a good team, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But that's actually the issue. You was winning how many Premier Leagues in the last 7 years? 5 of them? And you only won Champions League. And you were arguably, if you go back to the last 7 years, how many times did we think that City was the favorite or second favorite based on how good Madrid was about 5 years ago? So you've always been a good team. The issue that City always had
every year,
almost every year, and that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you were probably the best team in the world, and they didn't win it. Why didn't they win it? Because they didn't have players that gave them too much individual moments. They had a team that was very well drilled in the Premier League, and they would smash teams off the park. But it went to Europe when they needed a moments player, and you needed someone who's like a Ronaldo, like a Messi, like a Lewandowski, like any of these players that won the Champions League.
But they didn't even need that. They didn't even need Ronaldo or Messi.
No.
Saka is not even worth Mo Salah's right leg. Mo Salah had Koulibaly on his back, turned them, and then scored with his weak foot. Saka, had he got the ball in that position, will pass back to Ben White because he wants to have 90.
Okay, so that's a different argument, though. You're just arguing the quality of their players. That's not.
Salah wasn't. But Salah wasn't doing that at 22 years of age.
There you are. I'm so sorry. He was born in Egypt. I apologize.
No, but no.
He was born in the slums of Egypt. I apologize. While Saka was, in the Arsenal Academy.
That is irrelevant. That is irrelevant in the modern day game. Listen, Mo Salah's amazing. You've seen me defend Mo Salah so many times on here. I've told you he's your Premier League GOAT. I think he's in the GOAT conversation of the Premier League. And Saka didn't have a good game. But again, I just think the analysis you boys are giving about the individual game, I think spot on. But I think you're overreacting to their defeat. And people say, Terry, you're being a simp. But I defend all clubs like this from overreactions to one game. It's an overreaction. Of course you can.
Can I ask you a genuine question?
Always.
Name one
don't condescend.
That has ever... Terry, stop giving it the begun. Anyway, let me just ask you a genuine question right now. Have you ever seen a Champions League a club win the Champions League without a single element of chaos and without individuality?
No, it's a great point. However, up until last night, every game so far in this Champions League, Arsenal have delivered that. Now, I understand that the knockout circumstances are different, and it becomes like a different competition. So I do understand that, and it's there. And I think the criticism is right. If they don't show it in the next game, they'll probably go out as an example, but I believe they will show it. My point is, if they show it in the next game, does that then, will you then completely dismiss the idea that they don't have someone that can have individual moments of brilliance in the Champions League? Do you get where I'm coming from? It's almost like, I get your...
I understand where coming from, but that's what my
I think this idea that this Arsenal team won't have anybody in the next game have an individual moment of brilliance, I think it's a little bit too far-fetched for me. It's a little bit too far-fetched.
That was my caveat to begin with. I said, if Arteta does this again, if Arteta wants to have 100% control over a football game, this will happen to him. This is what my point was to begin with. Allegri is a great manager. You mentioned this in your post-match reaction. Sometimes you just have to give the opposition the ball and try counter-attack. So Arsenal Football Club are sat there. Porto are parking the bus. Be smart. Give Porto the ball 10 minutes. Try counter-attack them. Create space for yourself. Instead of
TGB here is right, though. Here's what my prediction is. They beat them 3-0. It will be, but it's only Porto. That I think for me is again, I've only changed in the last 2 years when it comes to being a content creator. I'm all for a little bit of banter, but I just feel sometimes like it's so milked, if that makes sense. It's when a team wins, it's only Porto. When they lose, it's literally your season needs to be written off right now. And I'm not saying you guys are going more at the fans that over-egged it, and I totally understand that. This here from Manny says, Egal starting 11 of, I mean, that's just crazy. But it's TikTok. If someone's a TikToker, that's what you expect. TikTok is
disappointed I didn't see a Porto XI. I wanted to see that.
Have you seen like those people that do TikTok, like they cook? I've seen these people that cook on there, and this American woman makes these disgusting dishes where she mixes all this meat together. It's horrible. There's also an English girl that does stuff on there, and she purposely makes things in a way that would probably kill you. Like she's touching raw chicken, and then she's eating potato chips out of a bag and whatever else. And I'm like, it's purely to make people go, oh my God, TikTok isn't, I don't think people realize this. TikTok isn't real. Everything about it is false. It's about saying things you don't really mean to get instant attention as a general rule. This here says, Mustafa, if your team is scoring freely as Arsenal, you will feel the same. Remember, you called Onana the best goalkeeper in the world. This is how fans behave.
First of all, Kenny, I don't know who made
you just got dunked on there, bro. You just got dunked on hard.
No, I didn't. First of all, I don't know who made you think that's my real name for you to say that. My name is, as Terry announces it every show. So if you can go by the name that I get announced by, I'd really appreciate it.
What is your passport name, like your legal name, government name?
I'll never reveal that. But Kenny FC, I'm gonna
being called Staffy. We pretty much know what it is, don't we? Like,
you do, I could be Mustafa. People thought my name was Mustafi, like the guy that played for Arsenal. So I'm gonna let them guess. I'm never gonna tell them. But Kenny, listen, I'm gonna go by a different name. I'm not gonna call him Kenny. I'm gonna call him Kenneth now. Because I'm just gonna assume what your real name is. So Kenneth, so you're saying because I said Onana's the best goalkeeper in the world, that's how fans behave. Now here's the thing. I said this and I'll say this again. When you take a clip as a joke and you're actually gonna use it when I talk about real football, then there's some Jordanian prick that went there and cropped the first half of the video to make a video scene that I actually rate him as that, as if it wasn't a joke. That's fine. Listen, but that's all jokes. There's a difference between a joke and you guys actually being for real. You were for real when you thought that you're going to go to Porto and you're going to smash them. And that's the issue that we had. And because it wasn't just me. So the Onana club was just me. You guys, it wasn't just you. Everyone in your fan base, pretty much 80% of your fan base was moving the same way. So when the majority of your fan base is coming out disrespecting the Champions League, disrespecting Porto, disrespecting everyone under the sun, and saying you're gonna walk this Champions League. Give me Bayern, give me Real Madrid, give me Inter Milan. Oh, we're gonna score 6 against them like we did against Burnley. Then this is a fan base issue. This isn't an individual issue. So I hope that kind of made sense to you. And I don't know where Terry's gone. So let's take over the show. What should we call this show now?
Waiting on a miracle.
No, let's call it Jude Bellingham is coming to Liverpool, and I'll put my hair on
there
it.
You are. There you are. Let's call it Onana's.
Why do we not? Why do we sit here and pretend that you never shaved your head because you made a bet?
Why do we sit here and pretend that you never said Onana's the best goalkeeper in the world?
We don't pretend that because you shoved that clip under to everyone's face so far.
There you are.
So why do we not talk about that? How is a content creator? How is a content creator that had to shave his head because he gave a false take gonna come here and make fun of me about it?
Hey, that's a great lesson.
You're literally known. You are literally known on YouTube. You are literally known for YouTube. You're literally known on YouTube. You're literally known on YouTube for having a bad take that led to you being bald. And you're gonna give me
hey, alhamdulillah, I made as much as 200 haircuts, so I'm good, brother. Alhamdulillah.
I like it. Manny here says, Terry, I don't know where their cockiness comes from with Gooners. Our first game back after 7 years, and we are acting like Porto, a 2-time winners, was a walk in the park. Did we forget how we left the competition? We need to be calm. I agree. I agree with that element. Like, have a little bit of like decorum at times. I think it goes a long way, and don't be doing videos where you're calling teams Rio Avenue. Arsenal are one of the top 3 sides. Sorry, are one side of the top 3 that have proven that one bad result can turn into a month of bad results. Happened this season already in December. It's true, but it also happened to City earlier on the season. Again, it happened. Again, I don't think that's an anomaly that's only applicable to Arsenal. And again, you're saying being an Arsenal simp. I think I'm just being fair personally. Halftime hooks here, or halftime crooks, as Staffy calls him, says, my brother Staffy, you cannot dunk on me. Next time we meet online, the cooking will begin. Rashford faster than Garnacho, so he is slow.
That's not what I said. Halftime crooks. Listen, all that hair from your beard is going into your ear, and you can't listen to what I'm saying.
He got you again.
Listen, go put some rosemary oil on that beard and focus on that, because your football takes, as I said, are stinky. So when I see you again, we'll talk about that.
I have to start calling you Air Jordan, bro. The amount of dunks that are happening on you today, my G, is crazy.
No one can dunk on me.
Big up, boys. Feel sorry for Arsenal having a guy like Igal, man, say something and it completely backfires all the time. I honestly believe this. Every time something bad happens to Arsenal, I bet you can find something that Igal's done on the internet within a few days prior that's caused the butterfly effect. Like, I genuinely believe he is like a bad luck omen for them when he opens his trap. Honestly, that man talks, and on the other side of the world, there's a tidal wave. Like, he does this. People take Igal's point and beat the whole fan base with it. Lol. Well, I think he actually.
It's people. It's calling Porto Burnley. It's people being upset.
It's not just Igal.
Yes. It's definitely not just an Igal thing. Let's not act like this is just Igal. Like, this ain't just Igal, bro. Like, we're talking about the 3/4 of your fan base. Some people are blaming the ball boy, and you're saying Igal. It's not just Igal.
Bro, when you're trying to win your first ever Champions League, as much as I understand you want to face the best, you should be looking for the easiest draws. You're looking, okay, how do I win this trophy? How can I possibly avoid the big boys until the latter stages? That's not what you guys did. You guys said from the beginning, wallahi, these guys said, give me Bayern, I want to revenge the
Give me Real Madrid.
Give me Real Madrid. Give me Inter. Why are you asking for all the big boys when you haven't won it yet? You should be looking for the easiest way possible. So when you win it, and then you face one of the big boys in the final, it's easier for you. I'm saying based on that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Reggie, the Terry Jr. Laughing at Husam's opinions. Got to rate it. Respect Staffy's knowledge. Husam, play the Onan video is what JJ's got to say here.
JJ told you, lay off the shisha pipe. It's enough.
A new idea for a show, straight waffling. Staffy, Igal, and Don, just for jokes.
Chelsea.
By the way, did any of you see Chelsea Don last night on Top 6?
He was defending Chelsea again, and then he pretends
it weren't even so much defending them. He's basically, I don't know how I've missed this another week. He's basically saying that Chelsea are one of the best teams in the league if the manager doesn't make mistakes. And I'm sitting there like, you're acting like your manager is the only manager that's made mistakes this year.
It made no sense.
Hopeless.
You know what
Honestly,
he was
Chelsea
saying?
fans will genuinely blame Poch are just senseless at this point. Like you cannot look at this mess you're in and blame Poch when your owners have the biggest failure of a sports project not over the last anything since sports was created. This is the biggest failure in sports project history. Spending 1 billion and looking like this shit because you have zero talent idea and you overpay for players. Enzo spent 2 months in Europe. They paid 100 million for him. Caicedo 115 million. I can name you all the money they paid. They got no experience in that squad whatsoever. And they all think if they sack Poch, they're going to get better. They're still in that Abramovich mindset, but they don't have no Abramovich player. Ain't no Essien, ain't no Lampard, ain't no Terry, ain't no Drogba, ain't no Petr Cech. There is no spine for you to get a manager, and then it just works out again. They just keep nitpicking and bitching about stuff 24/7. Oh, he played Enzo in the 6. He's not a 6. He played him in the 8. He's not an 8. He played him in the 10. He's not. Where do you want him to play? Right back? And he's played him across all the Sterling problem, Jackson problem, this guy problem. It's not Pochettino's problem. They're gonna sack Poch, and then they're gonna get a new manager, and then they're gonna suck again. And then I want to hear the same Chelsea fans say the same shit. New manager out. Get him out so we can play Enzo in his real position. They have the Abramovich mindset, but they don't have Abramovich players. That's the problem.
I hear you. Before we move on to your preview involving Chelsea, how do you boys see the Arsenal versus Newcastle game going tomorrow? Do you think Arsenal will bounce back with a solid win?
I think they'll bounce back. They're playing at home, aren't they? They're at home, I swear.
Yes, they are.
Listen, their form in the Premier League, I don't think is going to get affected by that. It might bother them a little bit, but I think it's going to fuel them to get a result versus Newcastle. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really have any doubts that they'll pick up 3 points. I think they'll replicate everything that they've done in the last few games in the league against Newcastle. They'll probably win by 3 goals or something.
I think Arsenal win this game. This is a game where all their systems and shit makes sense. All their boring crap works against Newcastle at home. So, I think Arsenal win this game 3-0. It's just Newcastle are shit as well. Newcastle are so overrated and crap. And I warned people about Newcastle. So, I think Arsenal just smash Newcastle, to be honest with you. 3-0 win.
Yeah, I think Arsenal are going to hurt them this weekend. I think it will be business as usual in the Premier League. And I also think that will be a good wake-up call for them for the Champions League. They'll realise, Champions League knockout game is different. And for some of these players. So, I don't think Arsenal will have very many problems. I'm not being disrespectful to Newcastle. Newcastle are a good team. I just think at home, with the way they've been playing, Newcastle open up. They're not going to sit back. They don't really sit back how they used to. And that space will be exploited. So, I would go with I'm going to go with a 3-0 Arsenal win. If I'm being honest, I think they'll win 3-0 or 3-1. I think it'll be along those line. Staffy says, I'm jealous of your beard hooks.
He said Staffy's jealous of my beard, and 100% I am jealous of your beard because that's a very good-looking beard.
I always think about going beard because I got quite, my stuff, it grows from everywhere. Do you know what I mean? I could have a good one, but I don't know. I look a little bit I tried doing it once before when it gets to look a bit Amish. I don't like the Amish look, bro. Do you know what I mean? The Amish people, they scare me, actually. Even though I don't know they're meant to be lovely people, I look at Amish people, it always reminds me of those weird horror films. I'm like, I don't want to look like that. Anyway, Don needs to upgrade from doing his show from his front door to the living room, at least to be taken seriously. Guy's got zero common sense. No, Don knows football and understands football completely, in my opinion, but he loves Chelsea off so hard. He can't stay objective. He can't stay objective when it comes to Chelsea, in my very, very, very humble opinion. And some of the things he says are right. Poch has made mistakes, but the idea they would be 3rd or 4th in the league if Poch hadn't made those mistakes and they're definitely better than everybody else, there's no proof of that because Ten Hag's made mistakes all year. Even Pep's made mistakes this year. So you have to factor that in for everybody. No one is saying it's just Digal. Man has a following. He spreads his lunacy and people jump on it. Let's be real. He does have a voice. Is a huge, so it's a huge part. But look, Digal's part of that sort of TPF thing. He is. Terry, where is your good friend Sava? Sava quit the football terrace because it wasn't for him. is what I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, which I think is the best decision for him, because I don't really think my audience, who I respect, and him had a particularly good relationship, and it wasn't healthy for him. So yeah, he quit. He wants to do his own thing. Fair play to him. And I wish him all the best in the world. Chelsea versus Liverpool. How's the game going to go, Husam? Do you think it's going to be close, or do you think you might smash them?
I think Liverpool are the underdog in this game because of all the injuries we have.
Oh, shut up.
Just
Get
joking. Calm
Get out of here.
down.
Get out.
Relax.
Get out.
Just joking.
Well, embarrassing, bro. Embarrassing.
I think this game, to be honest with you, is obviously, look, it's a final. It's a Carabao Cup final, obviously. We have to thank Man United because last season, you know, the little kid in Rio de Janeiro asked his mom, and his mom told him that this is the Carabao Cup, so they now know about it. So now,
yeah, you ain't celebrating it if you win it. By the way, you are not allowed to have all the clips ready.
I better see 0 flags. 0 flags there. If I see any flag, I'm having an issue with it.
So you see, this is what happens on Straight Facts. Sava was right, to be honest with you. You know, now I'm with too many United fans want to discredit Liverpool Football Club. You frauds! This is my moment. Let me talk. You went out in the third round to Newcastle at home with their C team. Anyway,
I'm still the holder for now, so respect.
Staffy, again, let me speak in the local
until
section.
Sunday. I'm the reigning champion of that tournament.
5 minutes. We spoke about Diallo and Garnacho, two irrelevant players. Let me speak now about.
Okay, talk to me about your irrelevant players.
Thank you, Habibi. Thank you. First of all, your countryman Mo Salah, I hope he's fit. Nunez, I hope he's fit because it really makes a difference to us. Staffy was on my Luton watch along, and I've never lost my mind more in 45 minutes of football than that right there. I was so enraged because of Elliot, Gakpo, and Diaz. I just lost my mind. People were actually messaging me like, yo, Husam, I'm actually worried for your health. Like, drink some water, drink some tea. I'm like, I actually was fully mad and fully upset because of these three. These three just pissed me the F off in that first half. And I think injuries will play a role 100%. But look, over the last 10 years, in all FA Cups and Carabao Cups, there's been 2 smashings. City Watford and City Arsenal. When City slapped Arsenal 3-0 and when City slapped Watford 6-0. Other than that, it always is a close game. So for me, if you guys think I'm going to sit up here and go like, oh my God, we're going to smash the shit out of Chelsea. No, we're not going to smash the shit out of Chelsea because this is a final. So it will always be close. And I think injuries definitely won't help us, specifically the Alisson one, because I think he's pivotal in a game like this. But I think we have enough to get past Chelsea. I think this game ends in 90 minutes. I don't see it going to extra time or penalties or any of that. I think we can win like this game 2-1 or 1-0 on Sunday. But we need fitness is really important because Salah and Nunez are significant upgrade on the other two, which I think is massive, to be honest with you. So obviously we're favorite. We should be winning, and the reason why I want to win this trophy more than everything is not just the fact that it is a trophy, is the fact that all these players that haven't experienced yet success with Liverpool and with Jurgen Klopp will experience success for the first time, and it's like giving a wolf just like a drop of blood, and he just wants more and more and more and more. So this is the drop of blood that will help push us from now to the end of the season. So I see us winning the game, but I know it will be close. I'm sure all the Chelsea fans will come out to say the same dumb shit about Pochettino after the game anyway, regardless, win, lose, or draw. But get Poch out, it's his fault. But yeah, I expect us to win, and I think we will win.
Very tough, Staffy. I mean, aside from the pettiness, because again, I've got all the clips ready. I'm gonna cook a Sam if he celebrates one little bit after the way he treated Man United next year. But aside from that, can you make a case for Chelsea winning this, or do you feel as though this has got Liverpool's name written all over it?
Of course, Chelsea have a chance. Why not? With all the injuries that they have, and well, if I could quote Don, and it would be the easiest thing to say, and we can wrap up this. Listen, if Poch gets it right, they'll win. No, it's as simple as that. Just get the correct 11 and they'll win it. But no, it's unfortunately, Don, it's not as easy as just to say that. I think they do have enough to win. I think last week versus City, they've showed us that they have an idea of how to beat a team like that. They limited them very very much to any spaces given in behind, that was my kind of prediction last week. If you remember on Straight Facts, I said if they just limit the space being ran in behind and they kind of stay compact down the middle, don't press them or anything, they'll see a result from City. And they actually did that. Now, Liverpool are not as good on the ball as City. They don't pass the ball accurately like City does. They don't maintain possession as much as City does. They like to take a little bit more risks. So if anything, Chelsea will have more of the ball. But they have to go back to the same plan that executed versus City. I wouldn't say it's good, and I'll tell you why. If they just limit the spaces in behind that your attackers are not allowed to run into, obviously you don't have Jota. I don't know if Nunez and Salah is going to be there. But if they're able to do that, that's the same plan that they had against City, and it worked very well against them. You guys don't pass the ball as well. You won't maintain the same possession. So if anything, Chelsea will get more chances on the counter versus what they got against City. Because actually against City, every time they went on the counter, they looked dangerous. But they only went on the counter like what, 4 times? Maybe 5 if I'm getting one. They'll get I'm actually trying to be objective here. They will get more chances against you guys. But
this is what
they
you
just
want
gotta
to
limit
happen,
you.
not what you think will happen.
Of course, that's what I want to happen, but it actually could
Because
happen.
I want us to give Chelsea the ball. I don't want to.
But you won't, and I told you that. I don't think you'll give him the ball. Jurgen Klopp, as much as he's a hypocrite, he's not going to go into this final and he's going to play shitty football. He's going to go to the final and he's going to impose himself on the opponent, no matter who he has and no matter who he's facing. He's going to go in tomorrow. He's going to try to play the same football that he always does every week. He's not going to sit there and just be like, oh, Chelsea, now you guys get the ball and we'll try to counterattack you. That's against everything he believes in.
Hello, Staffy and Sam.
Hello.
Hello.
Husam. Say Husam.
Hello, Husam.
There you go.
Hello.
She's like, who's them men?
Anyways,
you two go play it. Won't be long. Bye-bye. Love yous.
Terry turning face on us as we speak. He's the face now. He's no longer a heel.
I don't think he can turn heel on his children. Maybe on the YouTubers.
When the camera's off. When the camera's off.
Didn't I tell you not to come into the studio while I'm live?
Get me my belt now.
But listen, back to what I was saying. No, listen, Chelsea definitely have a chance. Will they execute the same plan? I don't know. I don't know if actually this is when Dunn is actually for real, because he doesn't know if his manager is reliable enough to understand what he did last game and do the same thing again. I think if Pochettino was able to play the same way he did last game and limit the spaces in behind and just control the go at them on the counter. Don't try to control the game. Just try to hit them on the counter, limit the spaces, try to win the ball somewhere in the middle of the pitch. Don't sit too deep. And don't try to press him. And I think if he does that, he'll find it easier to play against Liverpool than he did versus City, because the personnel at least won't be as good. You just named all the injuries that you had, and it's easier to play against a team like that than playing against Man City.
4-1 and City drew with them 1-1.
I don't listen. I don't know who was your team on the day.
Describing something with an outcome, like you're saying everything true, and then that's the exact opposite of everything you're saying. Because Liverpool,
Wait, what do you
the
mean?
difference between Liverpool and City is Liverpool don't need possession. City need possession. Well, like Liverpool have won the final against Spurs. Spurs had a lot more possession than us. Like when we win games like this, we don't necessarily have possession or play beautiful football or none of that shit. To be honest with you, like I think you're saying everything right. Like you're actually saying 9 correct statements, but then you're concluding the outcome opposite of what you're saying. That's the thing that they don't get.
No, I'm saying that's the only way they can get a result. And I'm looking at the teams that the plays that you guys played that time where you guys beat them 4-1. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. There's no Trent, there's no Szoboszlai, there's no Jota, or maybe there's no Nunez. I think everyone else is there. But then when you look at their team, they were making
when Connor Bradley started that game. Don't be shameless.
No. There's no Trent in that game. And there's not going to be no Trent tomorrow, so that nothing. On Sunday, so nothing changes.
So the lineup that game was Alisson, Connor Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Gomez, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, Jota, Nunez, Diaz. Okay, so that was the lineup.
Okay.
So Bradley will obviously start. So will Konate and Van Dijk. So will McAllister. Endo was at the Asian Games. He's back. So that's a positive for us. Diaz is here still. Nunez and Salah, I agree with you. Them playing is pivotal, but other than Alisson for Kelleher, which I mentioned, it low-key is still the same lineup. Szoboszlai, of course, is important, but Like,
okay, now look at the
man.
Chelsea team, because I'm talking about both teams. Now, what did they do that game? They had Thiago Silva and Disasi. Disasi was on the right. That's not something they're gonna do because they have Gusto. They had Colmo playing as a false nine. That's not something that they're gonna do. That's something they didn't do last week. That's what I'm saying. Try to replicate last week. Last week, Disasi in center back and having Gusto on the right was much better than having Thiago Silva, who's much slower on and off the ball. There we are talking about speed again, which is something that I don't want to do. But Thiago Silva is much slower on and off the ball, which hinders them. Gusto being on the right helped them massively last week. And their front line, just having Nico Jackson licking up the play, is much more important than having Palmer in the false nine. Because I don't think they could play Palmer in the false nine on Sunday. My point is that I'm trying to say, I'm not saying Chelsea are favorites or anything. There's a very good chance that you guys actually smash them. Because you guys, every time you guys play, you come back from a 1-0 or whatever, and you put 3-4 past teams. You did the same thing against Luton. So I wouldn't put it past you guys to do that. You always find a way. However, I am saying if Chelsea are to get a result, they need to line up exactly the same way versus City. Because if they do, they'll actually find it easier to play against you guys than versus City.
What's the latest on Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez? I assume there's been a press conference by now.
They're going to check it before the final, so I don't know.
They're playing.
No, it's not necessarily playing because they weren't even on the bench last game. Soboslai the same. Alisson is out in till they
Alisson's not making it.
Soboslai.
Yeah, I'm going. Listen, Chelsea can win. Of course they can. I'm not writing them off completely. They've got a chance if they're resolute. If Liverpool don't have their shooting boots on. If the bench is as weak as it was the other night, 100%. But I'm going for a 3-1, a 4-1. I think Liverpool are going to score a number of goals in this game. I think Liverpool will score early. I think Chelsea will eventually have to open up, and I think Liverpool will hit them on the counter in that way. I think Liverpool are going to win. I think Liverpool are going to win convincingly as well. I also think that it's either going to be a convincing Liverpool win or a shithousery 1-0 by Chelsea. It's going to be one of those two things. I'm siding more with the Liverpool scoring lots of goals. So Chelsea do have a chance, but it's going to be similar to what they did to Manchester City the other day. Maybe they do grab a draw and they win on penalties. It'll be something along those lines. I just think there's a bit between the teeth with Liverpool. There's a different feeling around the club since Jurgen Klopp announced that he was going. And you said it, Staffy, and I'm stealing from you here. That's why I paid homage to it. Chelsea are just an I don't know team. They theoretically could turn up on the day and look amazing and go, wow. They could also look like a relegation team. And that's why I'm saying they're either going to grab a 1-0 stinky victory, but fair play to them. It's a trophy. They should celebrate long into the night. Or Liverpool are going to score 3 or 4 goals. I think it's going to be one of those types of finals this weekend.
Should we celebrate long into the night as well?
Of course you can. I'm not a hypocrite.
As I said, no international flags. I don't want to see no Brazilian flags, none of these flags. And if you win,
time.
Of course I was Ten Hag in. This actually, I love when people mention that I was Ten Hag in, because people like to say that I never admit that I was wrong. How did I become Ten Hag in to Ten Hag out? And people told me you never admit you were wrong. I thought
no one can rattle me. See how I
basically.
Huh? I have one-liners that can piss you off, Staffy. Don't try me, Habibi. I've known you.
That didn't piss me off. I'm actually happy that you said that. I'm just saying that actually proves that I am flexible with my opinions. If I go from manager into manager, it means somewhere in the middle I admitted that I was wrong. So I don't get it.
This here says this is from top LFC 999. He says I disagree. I think Chelsea will put in their best performance of the season. They could do again. That is still a possibility. Somali here says Terry will be in the mud. Listen, if you win, I've said I think the only way I'll be in the mud is if Chelsea play brilliantly and win convincingly. That's the only way. If you scrape a win, it's what I said may happen. I'm just siding more towards Liverpool scoring the goals in this game. Saka's older brother says 1 billion Carabao Cup team. I'm going to defend Chelsea here, though.
There you go.
They don't win the Carabao Cup and then football ends. It's £1 billion. It will be a Carabao Cup, but it would be the first cup in the first 18 months of what they're doing. And I'm not saying they're perfect, and I'm not saying a lot's got to improve. But they win a cup or two this year, better than not winning anything. They've still got to improve, but we're not going to start slagging people off for winning trophies. I'm not having that.
I always said I'd rather win the Mickey Mouse Cup than to lose the Mickey Mouse Cup. Would you rather win it or lose it? It becomes a Mickey Mouse Club the minute you lose it. I'd rather win it. Yeah, you're gonna shamelessly celebrate if you win it.
Exactly. Fun fact: Zabi's father was a player and coach. He played under Benitez, Ancelotti, Mourinho, and Pep. Okay,
that's a great combination for Xabi Alonso, which I think helps.
Turin stole that from Mourinho because Mourinho.
Listen, Man United. I want him at Man United to try and recreate what we did with Sir Matt Busby, a Liverpool legend, managing our club, becoming one of the greatest figures in our club's history. That's what I'm praying for.
How bigger we are than you. Your greatest ever icon is a Liverpool former.
Yeah, and his biggest achievements wasn't for you. So.
Yeah, it shows how much bigger we are, that we took one of your legends and people don't even realize he played for you.
There you are.
How Chelsea would it be to finish 11th and below, but to win more trophies this season than 4 of the other top 6 teams? It would be very Chelsea. It would create a great debate around what's more important, league position or trophies. And I think there is a debate to be had. Trophies are important, but I still think you want to have a team that you look at and go, we're progressing towards, or we can win a league title. However, you can't knock a trophy. It would be a great debate, Jonathan. It really would be. Halftime Hooks says, you may view me as your enemy, but my brother, I am your friend. I will teach you the ways of the beard.
I definitely don't view Studio Hooks as an enemy at all.
He's not an enemy.
Because I saw someone say, "Oh, are you resorting to personal insults?" I actually know him. Like if I say something, it's because I know him. I'm not personally insulting him. I know who.
Staffy, Igal, and AFTV don't. Staff, who's Staff? I think he's. Mate, does he mean you? Or he mean somebody else? Don't represent the majority of us because he's not. Staff isn't a Arsenal fan. Maybe he means.
No, he's addressing that to me when I was talking about Igal. And
Staff, Igal, and AFTV don't represent. That makes more sense. We are mostly just excited that we could win something after a decade in the mud.
I don't think they represent all of you guys. I'd be a hypocrite to say that because I always say my fan base doesn't represent me. But unfortunately, everyone here is right when we're saying
we don't really want you to, you're so negative about Man United. It's unbelievable.
Well, this is why I'm a top red now. I'm a top red now. I'm a top red now because the top reds I wanted them to accept me.
You are so in the mud if you actually get top 4. You're so in the mud. You specifically are going to.
How can I be in the mud when I'm Ten Hag in now? I'm a flip-flop.
No, you're not about to do this gimmick. This gimmick doesn't work on me.
It's not a gimmick, Habibi. It's not a gimmick. I believe what the manager is doing.
It's a gimmick.
You know what it is with you guys.
You've been healed for too long. It just doesn't work.
You know what it is. The issue is I can't win either way. Doomed if I do. Doomed if I don't. Can't. I call out stuff that I think are incompetent.
There is one way you can win. If Man United finish 8th, that's how you actually win.
Why would I win if United finish 8th?
Because everything you said comes true.
What did I say that comes true if we finish 8th?
Like with your players, with your manager, with shit like that, it proves that everything.
Wait, hold on. That doesn't mean anything. Regardless of where we finish, as long as we didn't compete for the title this year, I remain correct. Because this season, regardless of where we finish, is still a disappointing season. It's not going to be as good as last year. I feel like it's been brushed under the carpet and swept under the carpet. A lot of people don't talk about it anymore. But when you really look at it, the projections that we had in the beginning of the year versus now, we're not achieving any of this. We've been knocked out of the Champions League. We've been knocked out of the League Cup. We're only still in the FA Cup. And people now are trying to get us in a top 4 race. And now we just got hit with an injury. So regardless of what I say, I'm a winner if you want to say my take is right, but I'm still a loser because my team did shit. And that's not going to change. The season is no matter what happens from now on, the season is a disappointment. And that's one thing it's not going to change.
I agree. I even think if we win the FA Cup and finish 4th, there is still going to be a part of me that's disappointed. The only thing that's a caveat for me in it really is that we've got a new regime that are looking to do some exciting stuff with us. Stadiums increasing, people running the club. So it feels really weird at the moment. I still feel bitter about this season, but excited about the future. Score predictions, boys, this weekend. I'm going to go with 3-1 Liverpool. What are you going with, Husam?
2-1 Liverpool, 90-minute match.
Staffy?
There you are.
I don't want to see this guy win a trophy, bro. I really don't, bro. Even if it's a Carabao.
I don't want Liverpool to win. I would love Klopp to leave with no trophies this year. 4 trophies only won in 8 years. The same in that same period. That's what Man United have won. It'd be beautiful. Beautiful.
I know. And listen, I'm gonna be a proper Chelsea for the weekend. Done. You know, I'm gonna be with you, all my Chelsea brothers. I'm gonna be with you guys, and I'm gonna pray for a 1-0 stinky 1-0. I want it to be the worst final ever, where everyone wants to turn off their TV at halftime because there's no chances, there's no good football being played, and Chelsea just somehow nick it. So 1-0 Chelsea.
There we go, boys.
Zero conviction whatsoever. But
boys, I want to thank you both for coming on. We normally do a little bit longer on these shows, but the kids are running crazy. I've got to get them their dinner, get them bathed, and get them to bed as it's daddy duties today. So I want to thank you boys for coming on. I want to thank the viewers, the super chatters, everyone who's hit the like button so far. If you haven't hit the like button, get that done now. Staffy's ultimate hater has just come in here and says, Staffy, Liverpool just announced Liverpool versus Man United in Philly. The summer, we're good now, but so hyped. Oh, that's Philly's not too far from you, is it?
It's an hour away, but I'll never tell people if I'll be there or not.
Okay.
You won't know Staffy's ultimate.
Especially Staffy's ultimate hater. Why would you tell him?
Do you want to know a funny fact, Terry? Staffy's ultimate hater is actually a member on my channel.
There we go. Listen, people, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll